Matoke. Let's keep on Matoke.
How you do it? Stop calling people Matoke. You're calling people banana.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing?
Good, and you, dog?
I am alright.
Alright.
A little tired. Actually, very tired. Actually, extremely tired.
You are mother tiredness.
I am the mother of tiredness right now.
Yes.
But I'm here.
You have a little child in you
What?
called tiredness.
Oh,
Who's not letting you sleep.
wow.
Mother of tiredness.
I feel like someone could take that little clip
I mean,
and start a rumor.
let's do it. Let's do it. Cut it. Cut it. You need to cut it.
Cut it.
Hey, welcome to On the Couch with the Nubons.
On the couch with the newborns.
Noobiesies. Right? So I was thinking about you eating a lot of bread last night.
I didn't eat a lot of bread.
You ate some bread.
I ate like 2 slices.
At what time?
Is that relevant?
It is.
It was like 11
I'm
to
making
12.
a point.
It was to 12.
Oh,
I don't know. Somewhere there, midnight. I don't know.
Nice. Was it nice bread?
It was really nice. So Grace told me about Oma bread. I had never heard about Oma bread.
Skriza bread.
Like, I was like, does he mean rusks? Like, is it like, but anyway, found the stuff. It's like bread meets a scone.
It smells good.
It tastes amazing. So like, I couldn't sleep, obviously. And then I'm like, oh, let me have some Oma bread. And it was so good. And like something about having it at night. Like
Switchcraft.
no, it feels like the child. You know, when you're a child, you can't just wake up and open the fridge and get food. Like you sleep, dog. Now, I'm like,
I guess that. Let's be honest, guys. That's why we wanted to be adults,
yeah.
so we could do all the things we wanted to do as kids.
I wanted to be an adult so that I could open a box of cornflakes, and even if it's done in 24 hours, it's fine. It's my box, exactly. And I could open all the cereal at the same time.
You see how? Yeah. That's being a child.
And I do that now. Yeah.
We didn't count the cost of becoming an adult. I just wanted to have a fridge.
Oh.
It's not that I didn't have a fridge.
Oh, sorry.
What do you mean?
I just turned because in my mind I'm like, I'm pretty sure he had a fridge, but maybe this is part of the story.
But it wasn't your fridge.
Oh yeah.
It was your mother's fridge.
Yeah. Couldn't just open and pour the Coke.
Exactly.
Are you mad? Are you mad?
Exactly. I wanted to have my own fridge. Not a bar fridge at res or in a house. Yes. My fridge that I'm gonna call mine. I didn't know that the fridge comes with bills. Ish.
And you have to buy the food.
And there's a child who wants that same fridge and a wife. Anyway.
So I ate my sandwich.
Midnight I was listening to 340 Mil. Why are you
singing it like that?
Yeah. Pick up. Anyway.
She loves teddy bears
and bunny rabbits,
puppy dogs, and
dirty habits,
golden hair that
flows when she moves,
taller than me,
and her new designer shoes. I've been thinking about scoring after midnight driving. Is this video gonna be taken down? Anyway,
I don't think we did a good enough job for YouTube to pick it up.
Are you ready for me to ruin your childhood?
Okay.
And ruin your childhood if you follow 340 Mil.
If you're old enough to know.
If you didn't, then there's something wrong with you. You're a hater. Anyway, we sang that song and said, I've been thinking about scoring after midnight driving.
Yes.
You the one
midnight driving.
You the one I'm adoring. After midnight driving. Yeah. One look at you is inspiring me.
Sporing.
But he says inspiring me. After midnight driving. It turns out it's not after midnight driving.
Okay.
It's at the midnight drive-in.
At the midnight drive-in.
Because we kept on saying, I've been thinking about scoring after midnight driving. And it's no. I've been thinking about scoring at.
Are you sure?
The midnight drive.
But isn't he, because the song he says, because isn't he, there's the voice that says, pick up,
yes.
are you there?
Yes.
So like,
Bro,
then he's driving to her place.
Listen, we all
at
thought,
midnight.
We all thought
at the midnight drive-in.
It makes sense.
You're the one I'm adoring. At the midnight driving.
Because they're together at the midnight driving.
That's wild.
Anyway.
That is wild.
Childhood ruin.
Like nobody thought that. Like there's no way I believe anyone thought that they were saying at the midnight drive-in.
Hey, there might be somebody who was Googling lyrics, when Google was not a thing and they knew. Or maybe they just had like supersonic human hearing.
Maybe. Shout out to 340 Mil for never correcting us.
One time.
Because I went to like 3 or 4 concerts in high school and
I think
everyone was after midnight driving.
They probably were like,
it is what it is.
Now we're going to stand there and be like, no, guys, it's at the midnight. But even the chants in the song sound like after
midnight driving. I don't know. Okay, cool.
Tricked.
Good to know.
Tricked. Anyway.
Anywho.
So we're here, bro.
On the couch once again.
With the newbies. So, people who we're not going to mention by name.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's one question and the second one flows out of the first, or they're 2 questions. But I'll just pose them as 2 questions. So one, why another podcast? There's 500,000 million podcasts in the world. Why are you guys doing a podcast? Secondly, why are you exposing your lives on a podcast like Lakadis?
I know who those people are.
Dealing with exposure.
Thanks for watching and listening, though. Wink, wink.
We see you.
Okay. So, I mean, there's like 3 questions. There's like, that is very layered.
Okay, come on now.
Deeper and deeper.
Come on.
So we'll start at the surface.
Okay, prophetess.
Hey, bruh. That'll be an expose. So, why another podcast when there are 500 million, or we don't know the accurate number.
Billion, trillion.
The truth is, like, I used to think like that as well. When I saw people doing something that, like, okay, for instance, when people were doing T-shirts at a time, or like, merchandise was like really, like it was starting to pop, and, everyone was releasing a T-shirt and whatever. And I remember reading a lady who I thought was really cool. Like, I just thought she was just cool, like effortlessly cool. And she was like, if I see another slogan T-shirt, I don't know, I don't remember, but it basically was looking down upon like the fact that people were releasing slogan T-shirts. And here's the thing, at the time, I mean I still do, I love T-shirts with a clever slogan, but I felt like so like snacks, like like is this uncool? Am I uncool?
I'm outside of the cool club.
Like, we're not supposed to like this. And like, it's embarrassing to admit that, right? Like, because I pride myself on being my own person, but in that moment, just because of how cool I thought she was, and I realized I've had that kind of thing. And I'm like, but why not? Yeah. Because all those people who are the people who I had seen, I mean, one of the brands that has exploded is a Zambian brand, which I remember I was there when they first like launched, and I was doing a show there, and now it's like, it's just running, like it's just done its thing. And this is years ago. And I'm like, but why not? Because when a new movie comes out, nobody goes, not another movie. Oh my gosh, another rom-com. We're so tired of these soap operas. I'm so tired of all this new music. Like,
Or another artist.
Yes. So the whole thing of, another podcast, it's actually, that was the chat when we started our YouTube channel. I remember 5 years ago, if you want to go back to those, I was watching them, I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, but I remember that was the conversation. Everyone's starting a YouTube channel. And it was almost like this thing like, how unoriginal, how, like really, and I remember we started it anyway, fell off, which we'll talk about later. But all the channels that started at the same time as us, or like around the same time, doing different things, who stayed consistent, are eating.
Popping.
Like, and I'm sitting there going, so you're going to tell a person that everyone's doing this.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, the beauty about podcasts is it's obviously a conversation. Some of them are 3 hours, some of them are 10 minutes. And are we sitting on 7 billion people in the world?
8 now.
Really?
I think.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That is crazy. Wow. Does this mean we shouldn't have another baby?
Yeah. There's enough. Yes.
Sure, that's a lot of people. Anyway, but I'm like 8 billion people, of which I don't know what the percentage is that has internet access. Someone will want to hear your conversation.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think it's just like this was felt like a natural flow for us.
Yeah.
You know, with one of the creative things that we do.
Yeah.
So why another podcast? Why not?
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to be too cool for school and be like, remember that girl who said the slogan t-shirts were whack? I'm not going to do that podcast. But inside, I want to do it.
And another thing, I'm like, yo, man, you have a story to tell.
That's the deeper conversation.
Yeah, you know, you wanna say something, and as a creative, you know, you want outlets to do that. You know, so other creatives have one thing. You know, so you're an artist in terms of music, and you do that, or you are let's say a painter. You know. So I know a dude that's all he does. He's a painter, you know. So he does paintings. He'll appreciate music. He'll appreciate other forms of creative expression. But his thing is, I'm just gonna paint.
Yes.
But for us, I'm like, even when we were doing music, we had other forms of creative expression. You know.
Yes.
And so I think. Yeah, like why would I wanna box myself and say I'm not gonna do something just because there's 500 million people who are doing it? The key thing is they're not me. Right? They're not.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Unless there's a bunch of other newborns out there. then sure, dog.
Like
I
And I think sorry if I'm just going to hijack
cool.
your point.
Yeah.
That's such a huge point, right? Because, like, again, if you're listening to this and you're creative, like, we're not assuming that, you know, you are a writer or you're a performing. Like, obviously, creativity spans across the board. But from the perspective of, for us, where our creative expression was with our physical selves, right? So for me, from like when I really started in early high school, it was performance poetry, and I was writing, I was performing. It was, you know what I mean? I was physically there telling my story through the poems, and then it graduated to writing songs. And then you do it through the music videos, and then when you're touring, like if anyone has watched us perform, like we're constantly sharing our story. And it only dawned on me this year when we were talking about making our comeback to the YouTube space and, you know, entering the podcasting space, that flip, man, we've been telling stories. Like that's my personal way of expressing creativity at the heart. It's storytelling. So I might do it through a poem. I might do it through a film, a story, a song, a conversation. Yes, obviously a conversation there's a level where it's obviously more fluid, but ultimately I'm telling a story. And so just circling back to what you said about there's not going to be another you, right? Like your story is 100% yours. And if you want to tell it and you as a creative think, shucks, this is a good platform, then stuff the people who say, another podcast.
Yeah, bro.
Like, another one. And the fact that there's so many of them proves that this thing is working and it's worth doing. And even if it wasn't, I think that's another thing, because we obviously know what it's like to like put on a show and literally like 4 people come.
Hey, my dog.
Like you perform.
My dog.
And you perform.
No, you show up.
Right?
You show up.
So, but you still do it.
Yeah.
So yes, it's obviously because you're putting stuff out in the world, and unfortunately, but it's part of the exchange of art, creativity, you know, all these on these different mediums. You want the world to receive it.
Unless you're gonna become your own audience, which most likely does not happen.
Yeah, I think most people I think I know one person who just writes for themselves.
I know.
But most people, it's part of the expression is you create the little thing and then you go show it to everyone, and then you engage and you connect.
Does that person put stuff out?
No, I'm saying, I was saying that most people I know want their art to be appreciated and experienced by others.
No, I was asking that person that you said writes for themselves. Do they put their material out?
No.
Okay, yeah. And that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yes.
Unless you're going to be your own audience, where I'm going to make a song that I'm just going to listen to. So I'm going to write the song, record it, mix it, master it, make artwork, and just put it on my cell phone so that I could listen to it, which is fine. Do that, right? I'm going to record a podcast.
Have a music video, and the link is private.
All your YouTube videos are private, just for you. Dope.
Yeah.
Right? But most likely, nobody ever makes stuff to consume it that way. Person who makes stuff wants other people to consume it. But the point that we're making now is that you are making stuff, right? You making stuff. We could talk about people consuming the thing, but why another podcast? Well, because we want to make stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And we don't want to make the links private.
Yes.
We're inviting you on the couch to come have a conversation with us, even when we think about like what podcasting is, and the reason why it's in a time when short form content was the thing. So even when we started our channel, it was like, wow, 20-minute video, 15 minutes,
so long.
How do we cut this thing? And then going into shorts, and now and we say now because I think in SA podcasts have popped, but podcasts have been there, everywhere else in the world, where long form content is a thing, and we're all engaging with long form content. So podcasts are basically an extension of the conversations we would have on the couch with ourselves or with our friends or around the braai, or when we road tripping and we would, drive for 5 hours. Those conversations, we want to invite other people to have those conversations with us. And we just don't want to just record the stuff, put it on our TV, invite Zaya and be like, watch Mama and Bobo talk.
So she can like zone out after 10 seconds.
10 seconds, which she does for everything.
Exactly. So, but I guess then I'm going to ask the question, I think you asked it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Then why not post it in a private link? Why expose yourself?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Hundreds. I think maybe the first thing to qualify my answer. Exposure sounds like, wow, like you revealed your deep,
dangerous,
dark secrets. Yeah, and you're exposing your family to danger. And I get it, because this internets are a tricky place, and we're kind of all learning as we go.
Oof, that's
right?
Big, yeah.
On what this thing is and how it's going to affect our real lives. And maybe I'm going to answer the question, but it just reminded me of why I went off social media, right? For 2.5 years or whatever, since April 2020, basically, I deleted all my accounts.
3 years,
I deleted all my accounts because the internets were noisy, man. This place was noisy. And by noisy, I don't mean that there was anything wrong that people were doing. For me, I just could not. And again, I'm going to answer the question, but I'm veering off into other things. It's going to speak into our.
We are trusting the process.
Yes, and I'm saying this for you, because I think sometimes you're like, just answer the question. We don't care about all your branches. Just talk about the bark of the tree, okay? No one cares that there's branches here. And I'm like,
I always worry you'll get lost.
Do I get lost?
As long as you're reassuring me now that
I'm just saying, even in normal conversation.
Why are you exposing me?
Anyway. So it's going to speak into us falling off, and we say that intentionally. There's nothing embarrassing about saying we fell off.
Oh no, we fell off hard.
We fell off hard, right? So the internet got noisy for me because I didn't know who I was in the internet.
Yeah.
Right? So it got noisy, Is the real life I'm living off the internet my real life? But it doesn't feel like it because I'm not present there. I'm always trying to think, how do I throw stuff here, right? How am I meet somebody and somebody's talking and they like sharing their heart out, and I'm thinking, I wonder how I'm going to turn this into a lesson for people on the internet.
Eesh. those LinkedIn posts where it's like the stories are so unrealistic.
Yeah.
There was this guy who's like, LinkedIn stories be like, oh, I saw a dog on the side of the road that was hungry. I'm paraphrasing. I don't think it's exactly like this, but people have probably seen this. Yeah. And then I gave the dog a snack and it said thank you. Well, it didn't say thank you, but and then I went to my interview, and when I arrived for the interview, the person interviewing me was the dog.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
Where it's just like, what are you?
It's those videos where the guy is pretending to walk and then just happens to bump into some girl or some guy and then gives them a random note and then they walk away and somehow the camera stays on the person because this is a random stranger who doesn't know that there's cameras, but then the thing stays on the random stranger who opens the note, and the note says, if somebody hasn't told you that you're beautiful today, I'm telling you. And then the stranger's like, where are they? Where are they? This is what I really needed in my life today. In fact, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't dislike videos or pictures. I mean, you can't dislike it. So I don't put a dislike on YouTube because I'm just like, it's not. If I'm really moved to like something, I like it. I click like. But if it's like, okay, whatever, right? But those videos, I intentionally click dislike. I'm like, algorithm, we dislike this rubbish.
Don't ever bring this here ever again.
In the world, make sure that there's a bunch of people who dislike this. But again, there's people in the world who need hope, and some of those videos, as much as they cringy, give them hope, which is fine, whatever. But I was saying, I think, it got noisy. And I'm not saying that the internet is fake at all, but I can acknowledge that, yo, man, I should not be robbing my real life of being present, of being attentive, being listening in on conversations that we're having, just so that I can come make content. Right? I'm like, no, I need to live my life fully. And this becomes an extension of how I express my real life, right? And obviously, as a creative, we're gonna do that creatively. But I don't have the sense that I was living a double life before, right? So anyway, that's all to say. That.
What was the question again? I even forgot what the question you're answering is.
You are zoning out.
No, you know what's happening there? Because you've taken us
on many branches.
I forgot where we were even supposed to be going.
It's fine. So the question.
So that's why I look like I zoned out.
Anyway, the question was on why are we doing this? So there was two questions: exposing our lives. So the first one was why another podcast. The second one was why we're exposing our lives.
Yeah, that's what I was asking you.
Yes. So I'm saying it doesn't feel. And it's not, let me not say it doesn't feel, it's not me exposing my life. It's me having an extension of my life. This is, a conversation we would have on a couch is the same conversation we're having now on the internet or in this podcast. So it's not an exposure because, again, we're limited to time here. We limited to having other people who are not presently here. Right, so we know that you're there as you're watching this, but you're not here now in real time as we're recording this, and so the limitations don't allow for us to expose all of who we are, right? But at the same time, I'm like, that's unrealistic because all of who we are comes with a context, right? And so we'd have to sit here and explain the context of our entire lives so that you can get deeper on a certain point. But I'm like, no, there's a context that's established here. You know who we are, we know who you are. We can meet in person sometimes and talk to each other, etc. But the context that's established on what the internet is, what the podcasting platform is, allows for us to share as much as we can. And I don't think it's us putting our family in jeopardy or our family in harm or whatever the case is. Right. So it's not an exposure. It's not an exposure. I think it's just an extension of a part of our lives. It's not all of our lives because, again, we don't sit the whole day and just have conversations.
It's not Big Brother.
It's not Big Brother, right?
I think there's also a big thing in terms of the purpose behind it, right? So like taking it back to the storytelling as well as using. So not only are you telling your story, right, creatively in whatever platform, of which right now in this area it's podcasting, but you're also telling your story, telling my story. So there is a level, our story. There is a level of exposure, right, with like, okay, I'm going to share these things, but I'm like, I'm comfortable with that. There's things where I'm like, yeah, I'm good to talk about that, because also again, been talking about that. Like I'm like, I actually think like if somebody were to pay attention to our music and whatever, there's a lot that's being shared there, right? But then it's a question of then purpose. And I think that's sort of like a big thing where, in as much as, yes, we did fall off YouTube, but we fell off in many other ways, right? Like just across the board. And one of the things I personally lost was a sense of purpose. Right. And that was so big for me when I started my journey as a creative, as a performing artist, as a filmmaker, as an everything. There was definitely purpose driven behind, there was definitely purpose driving everything. Right. And I think getting caught up in, like you're saying, the madness of the internet, because the internet is where we do our business. That's the platform. Some people don't have to engage with the internet. So saying have to sounds like it's by force, right? But that's just the platform where people are consuming, content, right? So before, if you wanted music, you listened to the radio. If you wanted TV, you
CD store.
You go to a CD store. If you wanted TV, you'd literally turn on the TV. Now everything is literally in one place. You wanted to watch a movie, you go to the movies. Now everything is literally on this like virtual space, which I think is powerful, and and it comes with its good and bad. So it's not like it's I'm trapped here, right? But it's like when I started, it was okay, cool. I'm performing poetry, I'm singing, I'm doing all of this stuff, and the purpose, besides the fact that there's enjoyment, like I loved doing that. It made me happy to perform. Like, yes, we did shows where there'd be 3 people there, hurt like hell, right? But then oftentimes those were the best shows. Like it was like how is this amazing? Like I'm devastated that we didn't sell tickets, but the performance was rocking. The people were into it, So there's a level of enjoyment that you are fulfilled as a being, right? You're fulfilled as a being, as a creative who. The part of the exchange of creating something is the next person receiving it and you connecting on that thing that you created, right? Like that's why we'll put all the effort in. That's why, whatever, like people will spend months perfecting a tour or a theater production, and then it's that moment on stage with the audience, and it all comes together. So there's the enjoyment, there's the fun of creativity, but then there's also, I think ultimately, which is again going back to the storytelling, is wanting to connect. So I think that's always been the power, right? Like you connect with the song because it resonates with an experience of yours. No matter how silly, it might be a silly song and it's just like, this is just vibes. Or it might be like the heartbreak song, or you connect with films, whatever it is. And so the purpose then is to say, yo, this is my story. This is what I'm dealing with. I've put this thing on paper. I've put this thing, added color to this thing. I've filmed this thing. And we then engage in the exchange where you as the audience member, as a consumer, consumes this thing and it's glorious. And I get to make a living from it. Hallelujah. Hopefully. Right? So now falling off, when we fell off, purpose was completely gone. Like completely gone. And for me, I think, and this is my opinion, I think if you don't have purpose to what you're doing, like you're going to lose steam real quick, and I think now in us coming to say, let's actually start a podcast, because we've been talking. Black would talk so much on stage, people would be like, when is this person needs to perform more? Like,
I mean, I was podcasting when 2017.
Yeah.
So
this is like your 4th, 3rd. I don't know. I've lost track.
Podcast,
but then us coming together to say let's be part of this thing that people are doing. It makes sense to who we are. Makes sense. It comes naturally. Like the talking is natural. It's also such a powerful way to connect because it's real time.
Yeah.
We can have the set and, have the mics and, but there's a level where you can't curate this, right? Like you can write a song and edit it and that by the time it reaches the people, it's been perfected.
Yep.
But in this chat, like it's fluid, it's happening real time, and people get to see that. We get to learn each other, we get to express ourselves. At the same time, somebody is watching this, seeing themselves in that. They connect, and that's like the whole beautiful sort of exchange that's happening.
That's why I think the most impactful people are people who at some level realize that all of us are creatives.
Yeah.
So so there's what we or the world would consider conventional creativity, which is music, fashion, painting, filming, etc., right? So it's like, if you're creative, you do these things. If you're an artist, you do these things, right? And I'm like, no, I think the most brilliant teachers are teachers who tap into creativity. I think the best engineers are engineers who realize that there's some level of creativity that goes into their work. I think the best doctors, the best lawyers. Obviously, I'm not saying now go cook up the laws and be creative in that regard, or be a creative accountant and change numbers. But I think employing a level of creativity in whatever sphere you're in, I think that unlocks a lot of things because then it stops being about the thing itself, but you seeking to kind of connect experiences, people's stories, connect with humans, right? And I think creativity really does that. So I see an example of like these teachers on TikTok who I was like, if my teacher did that, I'd probably know science by now. but they either come up with a song to teach the kids something, and maybe that's too on the nose when I speak about creativity. But I'm like, how do you creatively think about each of your students, right? And I know that's probably touchy because I have friends who are teachers, and some of them teach in government schools, and they give you 60 kids, and you don't have space to creatively think about all your students, right?
Yeah.
But even then, my challenge would be, those are the cards that you dealt with. Creativity allows for you to think, how can I make this a more conducive environment for all of these? So I've seen teachers who then take their kids out from the class to go sit under a tree or whatever, because they're like, hey, the walls are too tight for all 60 of us, so let's go outside, right? I'm like, that's a small thing, but it does a world. It's impactful, right? A world of a difference for the kids and how they're going to learn and interact with you, and how it frees their mind to learn this thing. So I'm like, if I'm sitting in a science class, my brain is freaking out, and then on top of that, there's walls caving in. So I'm like, outside, there's the sun, there's the birds, I can hear stuff. And then you could even teach me how to, learn certain things by seeing and touching them, etc. But I'm like, employing a level of creativity allows for the human connection to be deepened in whatever it is that we're doing, right? And I think for me, that's the thing about this, that you're trying to, as a human, connect with other humans. And I think creativity allows for that environment, creates that environment to allow for that thing to happen, So even as we're sitting here talking and doing all of the stuff, like you said, I'm like, somebody could come in and I'm just watching a thing, and you walk away feeling like, wow, that was therapeutic. That was cool, man. Like, I came in to find out something, but I walked away being a better person, feeling better about myself or the relationship I'm in, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm like, there's creativity allows for that to happen, man. It's not just about itself or what kind of platform you do. So I'm like, it's what you were saying earlier on, just because there's many salt companies. If you want to create salt and you have a purpose for why you want to create salt, and you're creatively creating salt because you want to deepen connections with people, hey man,
make your salt, bro.
Go make your salt, bro. Right?
And I think that's sort of the point, though.
Yeah.
That I think I'm sort of wanting to make.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Life is short, and like because I'm like, I know I sort of spend a lot of time struggling with that, like feeling like, oh, what are people gonna say, or I can't do this, or like it's just, and I'm like, dude, do what you gotta do, man.
Yep.
Like if you feel like, hey, I wanna, design new shoelaces and go for it, like do the thing. Somebody's gonna connect with what you're doing. Like there's so many of us. Like somebody's gonna connect with what you're doing, and don't be discouraged.
Yeah.
It is frustrating. There is like humps and bumps when it comes to and like I said, the exchange between the person creating the content, which is obviously the phrase of like the last couple of years, creating the thing.
Yeah.
And the exchange with the person receiving it can be difficult, and there's a lot that goes into that, and but ultimately I'm like, do it, man.
Yeah.
Like you can't be trapped in this idea that only this is gonna work, or this is gonna work, or because then I know for us, I think that's kind of where I got lost.
Yeah.
Because it was so. Yes, you must be strategic, because obviously what you're wanting to do, even if it's not your livelihood, like if you are like, oh, I'm going to start a channel, you want it to work, right? You want it to succeed because there's effort and whatever. So you are going to be strategic, pay attention and do whatever. But at a certain point, it's got to be true to who you actually are, right? Because I think those are people who are always the most impactful because they're drawing from something that's like inside of them. They're not waiting to draw from an example that's outside of them, right? And so obviously draw from who you are, while doing the strategy that's around whatever it is you're trying to create.
Yeah.
But I think for me,
which is a bigger conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think for me, at a certain point, I just got so lost with all the voices.
Yeah.
You should be doing this. You should be doing this. You should be, and then it just becomes, I don't even know what I'm doing, let alone why I'm doing it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I can be doing a bunch of crazy stuff, getting little sleep, doing whatever it is, going here. But at least if I have my purpose like locked down, then at least there's like motivation to continue. Because again, there's that sense of fulfillment that I'm doing what I believed I've been called to do, right? Or that I just want to do, at least in this season. But I think when I lost that, that's when I got lost. And then coming to the point where we are now, I'm like, shucks, I actually would like to do this. It aligns with who I am as a person. It aligns with what I've been wanting to communicate for years and years and years. And I think it allows for that experience that I've always cherished between this is what I've been through and this is what I've learned. And here it is, guys. If you want to take from it, because my favorite creatives have done that for me. My favorite writers, whatever. People who've been able to draw from what they've gone through, good or bad. I'm not saying everything is deep and dark, but it's just like, yo, thank you for sharing that, because then I don't feel crazy. I don't feel like I'm the only one.
So I was saying, I think even saying that we fell off and being so emphatic about it means that we recognize that at some level, there is accountability that we're taking for our lack of responsibility on certain parts, right? Again, putting out content, being creative, telling stories is not just one thing. That's a component of a longer chain. Earlier on, you spoke about obviously being strategic, thinking through the mechanics of engaging with the internet world. In our case now, it's podcasting. So I think when we started our channel, there was chats of people saying, why start another channel when there's many channels on YouTube? And, people have been saying that since YouTube started. But part of keeping up a channel, one, if you just think of ingredients, is being consistent, right? Which we failed dismally on. We can talk about some of the things that informed that. But then maybe let's talk about two things. One, that why did we fail on our consistency? But secondly, you did touch on purpose. How did we lose purpose? How did we lose purpose for our channel specifically?
I don't think I was fully clear why we were doing what we were doing.
Yeah.
I think I think you were more clear on the why as we were doing it. And I wasn't totally sold. Not because I didn't agree, but it's like, yeah, I started because like with many creative things, you kind of just start and you're doing it for fun. And it's like, hey, this could work. And slowly you see the benefits and you know, it all kind of comes together.
Yeah.
But I think after a while, I didn't know what I was doing there. But also, again, I was questioning that with everything in my life.
Sure.
So maybe had everything else in life been pretty okay, the impact on the channel wouldn't have been so hectic, right? But I think there was just a feeling of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm doing it. I'm confused. I don't know what's happening. How did I end up here? Down tools. We'll figure it out on Monday, and like it's a year later. You know. Yeah. I don't know if you have a different answer.
Yeah. So maybe firstly on consistency, I think we both had and if I'm speaking for you, let me know. But I think we both had like a creative or creators mentality or attitude towards working. So it's like, we'll work when we have inspiration.
Oh,
we'll work when
that was our bread and butter.
The lightning strikes and we feel like, hey, we need to get up and do stuff.
It's the worst.
Right? Which ironically we didn't do for our music in terms of putting it together. It was after we had the product that creator's brain or attitude kicked in. Because when we were doing music, so especially the projects that we worked on together, so like your project, it was like, okay, cool, let's work, you know. Yeah, sure, we had days where we didn't want to work. But so it was like, okay, we need to work, record the stuff. Okay, I need to mix, need to send it to Jonathan for mastering. We need to come back and do this, etc., right? But it's like when we had the product, okay, now let's put on a show. When I feel like I want to sing, then I'll put on a show, right? When I feel like I want to, I don't know, create a music video, I will do it. You know, okay, maybe now let's write the script for the music video. Inspiration hasn't struck. And and here's the thing, I'm not saying that running a YouTube channel is easy. Other people have given up their jobs to do this full time. So it does require a level of work and input, right? But for us, it was like, man, which probably spoke to you saying that for you discovering or not having a purpose for it, for, you know, throughout that whole process was a thing. And for me, having to discover what I thought was our purpose for the thing as we went, because that wasn't anchored, that wasn't clear. It was like, okay, so we'll shoot stuff. Okay, sharp. You know? And then maybe there's pressure to post because we haven't posted in a minute. And you like, dog, let's sit down and shoot. I'm like, I don't feel inspired right now. Right? I don't know what right? And I think that really hindered our consistency. That really, and when people were speaking about consistency, we were like, whatever. Because another thing is, we had not, and maybe I'm speaking for myself, we had not seen the fruits of consistency.
Because we had never been consistent.
Yeah, even not even for us. Maybe that's a chat to talk about, but we hadn't seen other people. You know, so even the people that we followed.
So here's the thing, nah? Let me. I need to like come clean on that.
Okay.
When I would see other people succeed in something I was also doing or trying to do, I decided they're just lucky.
Yes.
I was like, no, they're just lucky.
Yes.
And like, it's so shameful to admit, but a lot of the time, I didn't want to look at the fact that but they've been grinding really. Like you have this. I'm just having a rough week, which becomes 3 months, and then you want to do one thing and expect everything to just like. And that's why I'm like, honestly, and this is outside of like, you know, YouTube, just like fellow musicians that I followed, and you know, I'm just like, these people were spending money on tours when I had never even gone on one. Like I went on my first tour like how many years into the business, and it was only because of the label I was with at the time. But I knew of bands who were just waking up and driving to East London to perform, and then driving to Grahamstown, and then driving to Durban, and that. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to suffer. I just want to get in there and it just explodes.
You had a romantic idea about how this thing is gonna look like,
and naive and immature, and it sucks to admit that, but like that's true. So I can't sit there and be like, I hadn't seen consistency. I didn't want to admit, because if I'd seen it, then I'd have to admit that you falling, you lacking, you're not showing up, you know. And maybe that could be a whole different podcast on what it means to really show up for yourself. But I'm like, there was a lot of where, but I worked for like 2 days and I worked really hard and I didn't sleep.
And if we have to be blunt again, but I'm talented.
I'm so talented.
I have talents. I'm gifted. And then you think, I was actually thinking about this a while back, where I'm like, you know, that whole chat about I'm gifted. And I'm like, yeah, sure, dog, you're talented. You're gifted, right? But your gift needs you as much as you think your gift is supposed to be showing up for you, right? And what I mean by that is that I am talented attitude and talk was like, my gift is just supposed to make the way for me. My gift is supposed to, and your gift is like, yeah, but you have the eyes, the body, the hands, like, you know.
But isn't it the gift is supposed to bring you in the presence of
the kings? Yeah, so your gift somehow is gonna.
I'm not laughing at those people. I'm not like I'm laughing at what I interpreted that as.
No, that's fine.
Like I was like, oh, so it's just gonna.
But I'm saying your gift is supposed to pull you by the head and take you into the presence of the kings
to perform.
Short up, short. Like you don't have hands for your gift to. And I use this word cautiously.
What are you saying?
If I have a gift somewhere in me, in my heart, my gift is to play soccer. Yeah, that's why you need legs for your gift to be seen.
You need to go practice.
That's why you need to run. You need a body for your gift to be seen in the world, right? If you can sing, Lillian, we don't know that you can sing until you use your vocal cords to show us. Demonstrate that I have a gift to sing.
Yes.
We don't know that you can sing until you pick up a guitar and you get on stage and you use your body to perform. And guess what your body can do as well, Lillian? It can work. Your body is fully functioning to work. To sit down and say, hey, gift, I need you. That when I've done the work, you better show up, gift, right? Like imagine now you are like, I've done the rehearsals, I've trained my vocal cords, I've written the songs, I've booked the shows, I've booked the tour, and you get on stage and gift is like, me, I'm not showing up. I am not coming out. I am here, right?
And strike.
Yeah. So which is probably like not like in reality, I don't think things work like that, but I think I'm just trying to demonstrate how we treated the conversation around gifting and being talented. And so I'm like, yeah, you could be talented all you want, right? And that's why, if we have to be blunt again, you'd get the person who works hard, not gifted, not talented. They just went on YouTube or they just have a desire, you know, the wooden mic guys. I applaud those guys who then take a bus, go to Idols, stand in the line for long, right? And people have been telling him, Fana, you suck. But he's like, no. Listen. I am saying, compared to where we were at, I admire that guy who then bet on himself,
I see what you're saying.
Worked to get there, but he didn't have the gift. He didn't have the talent. Where now with all your giftings and all your talents, you were like, I am taking no bus. I'm not going to go wherever and go embarrass myself. If this thing is going to work, everything has to come to me. Somehow people have to come to your address.
God said.
Exactly. And find you, which is another conversation we should have. Right? But my thing is, your gift, your talents needed you to show up. They needed you to work. They needed you to put in strategy. They needed consistency. But for us, bro, that was not the thing, right? Yeah. There was a level of laziness. There was a level of, this thing is gonna work because it's supposed to work.
And like on laziness, like that's I remember being in school, grade 5, and It was a thing where the teachers, the parents come, collect the report and meet with the teacher. So they met with my teacher. And I remember overhearing my teacher say to my mom, because I don't know why overhearing, because I was standing on the side, but saying to my mom, like, yes, Lily is like, she's smart and she can do the stuff. She's just lazy. And I was like, who are you calling lazy? Excuse you. And I never forgot that.
Yeah.
But I never forgot it because I think I was offended by it.
Yep.
And granted, I was like 12 years old.
Yep.
But that memory came back to me, I think, like a year ago.
Yep.
Where I'm like, yes, there's a level of laziness here.
Yep.
Which is related to a lot of things, right? Which is like self-doubt, self-worth, and it's all connected.
Sure.
These things are not like, they don't stand alone.
Sure.
But there's a level of like, I don't want to put myself out there. Like there's a level of risk I wasn't like willing to take. And it's really embarrassing to admit, but it's like, yeah, that's true, dude. Like, that's true. Like, yeah, you might have done some great things, but if you had like worked a little harder, you know, and this is not regret sort of speaking, like as I'm sitting here, because like I'm free of regret. I think there was a time where I was really plagued by regret, because I think if anything, it's a thing where, but I have time now. I have opportunity now. So again, why another podcast? Because I think it's a great idea and I'm going to show up and I'm going to do it. Yeah. And even when I'm scared, even when I'm doubtful, even when because I know what it's like to be on the other side and cop out, because I know there's too many people doing, no, I don't want to, everyone sounds like, no.
Yeah.
No.
And even speaking about the actual work, you know, so before it was like, how do we just do the bare minimum so that we can, you know, just get by? But now it's like, no, you need, and we knew it, but we're too lazy to employ it. You need to put in a level of intentionality in everything, whether it's your equipment.
And all the time.
All the time.
Because we'd be intentional, like when it was time to plan a show, we're grinding back. Yeah. That week, and people were like, yo, Black is busy. We're busy.
Yeah.
When we record mixing, and then it's just crickets.
Yeah. And not realizing that the process of writing music, recording, mixing, mastering, putting, you know, artwork together, that's the beginning. That's step one. There's a whole lot of other links in the chain that needed to make this whole thing work.
Yeah, but I don't want to deal with those links.
We don't want to deal with those
involved.
links, bro. Yeah.
I'm the head and not the tail.
Yes. I'm gifted. I'm talented. This thing is supposed to just...
I'm going to pass all of that. I'm just going to be... Like, I'm not going... What you guys are going through, I don't have to go through.
Yeah. But maybe also being gracious to ourselves. There were times when we did put in work.
Yeah, and things fell
apart.
And I think, definitely. Ooh. But also, it was so devastating. Ooh. I remember being at the show before COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Well, obviously, it's not like COVID started that time. This is kind of when...
Before they announced it in our country, before...
No, they had announced it. By the time we did that last show...
There were people who didn't know that there was... They thought it was still in Asia when we did that show.
I think it was, I knew it was, but we just thought, it's this thing, whatever. So it was still sort of, there were still whispers, right? So it's the week before, our show was the week before lockdown, like 5 days before lockdown. By the time because I remember that show we did the week before lockdown, there was actually a friend of ours who came and he was like, yo, guys, I'm leaving, there's COVID. Like he came in, he was like, I'm not going to socialize. And I was like, you know? Yeah. But my point is, I remember looking out and the turnout was so poor and we had like marketed this event and devastated, absolutely devastated because it hurts when you put in the effort and like, you know, I always use the example of you have the recipe. I don't bake, but I'm just like, you have the recipe for a delicious red velvet cake. You put it in the oven and out comes like a hard stale Mari biscuit. And you're like, what happened? So it hurts when that happens, right? But I also do think that if we were not having bursts of creativity, those disappointments wouldn't be as hard.
Yep.
Because if you are constantly doing stuff, right, and that's what consistency is, right, and like with working out, if you're working out every day and you have one really bad week, you're not like, oh, this is it for me. Like you're like, yeah, no, but this is what I do. So I'm like, I think had we been challenging ourselves, and I'm not saying yes we must put on a show every week, because obviously that's expensive, but I think if we were taking risks and being in that space of constantly challenging yourself, when something hurts or fails or is disappointing, it wouldn't have knocked us down the way it did, or let me say knocked me down as hard as it did. But because I'm already coming from a place where I'm untrained here, so now I'm like, and then something fails, oh, that's it, God has failed me. It was a mistake.
The world hates me.
It's not fair. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not saying it's purely that, but I do think that perhaps if there had been a level of, you fail and you pick up and you move on. You know, and you try again and you get hurt, but now it'll just be like so devastating. And granted, COVID, that show before COVID wasn't the first show or event that we had done where, you know, but I'm like, I think if we had been showing up and putting ourselves in uncomfortable positions more often, for the sake of what we believed we wanted to do,
those disappointments wouldn't hit us hard.
I think so.
But they did. They hit hard, bro.
They did.
Those disappointments hit hard.
Because that's another thing as a creative that, and I don't know if it's all creatives, but I think it's, let me say, for people who write, any sort of writing, whether it's books, poems, you know, skits, whatever, it's so close to who you are, right? And I'm saying when you're writing original work, not when you've been booked on a job to write that thing. Just when you're writing, it's so personal. And so it can feel like when someone doesn't appreciate your work, it can feel like you don't matter. Like and it's such a I'm still working on that part. You know what I mean? Where it's like, because at some point you do have to be doing it for yourself, right? But then again, the exchange, and then if you include livelihood, it just becomes, and then the self-worth, and if I'm not getting all the likes, or if I'm not getting all the views, I don't matter.
That's what added to my noisiness. That's what added to my noisiness. And that's why I left.
Yes.
Because I was like, I don't know who I am, man. What am I doing? What is this? You know? I was just thinking about the funny thing around, you know, singing your praises about how talented and gifted you are. It's like when you don't want to work and put in effort, né? You justify it by how much talent you have and how much gifts you have, right? And then you hit some marks. You don't hit all of them, but you're fine because you've said, you know, things will work out because I'm the best. I'm the shizness, right? Whatever, right? You don't call yourself the best in those moments because you're too humble.
I'm so humbled.
Anyway.
But inside, you're like, psh.
Yeah. So when stuff doesn't work out there, you're like, why isn't stuff working out, you know? Talented, whatever. Anyway, we'll move on to the next thing.
Infuriating.
Flip that to the other side.
Yeah.
You put in a lot of work. Planned the show. Done the rehearsals, you know, you've booked the proper venue, you're selling tickets, anyway, all the things that need to be
loans,
hit,
bruh.
Taking out loans, everything that needs to be hit has hit.
Yes.
And then the thing doesn't work. And then those around you say, no, but you're talented. At that point, you're like, I don't care about talent.
Hey!
When you cared about talent, when you didn't put in work, and now that you put in work and it sucks, but dog, don't worry, but you gifted, you know, I don't care about talent. I don't care. So I'm like, it's just funny that you pick talent when you want to justify yourself.
Yo.
But when,
like, you must be like, you're talented.
Yeah.
Talent, bitch.
Yeah.
Gifted.
So anyway, it's just that's just a sobering thing. But yeah, man. But you here now, right? And we're doing this podcast, and again, this is in one sense is not new for us. You know, I did podcasts before, and things happen to those, but we're here now.
Yes,
betting on ourselves, doing this, still telling our story, having a clear purpose. For me personally, not feeling like I'm at a point where I'm robbing my real life for my online life.
Yes.
But using my online life as an extension.
So it's like knowing who you are as a person and as an artist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it's not those things don't have to completely be one thing.
Yeah.
Like it's parts of who you are.
Yeah.
And then having control over I will talk about this.
Yeah.
I will show this.
Yeah.
It's intentional.
Yeah.
You know, and then on this side, this is for me.
100.
You know, and then not having your identity wrapped up in the post.
Mm-mm.
Like, how many likes did it get?
No, bro.
It only got 5 likes.
No.
I'm worth nothing.
Yeah. Again, there's a strategy. Again, there's some mechanics that you have to deal with. You know, there's some formalities, etc.
Yeah, because it's the business. It's also a business. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Can't run away from that.
You can't run away from that. You know, but for me, and I'll end here and want to hear your thoughts on that. I felt like I had to emphasize one part of who I am. And now that I think, and you know, I don't want to say because now I'm more comfortable and confident.
Why don't you want to say that?
Because that's not it.
Okay.
I think because, because I'm just more clearer than I was before. So I'm not saying I've hit my level of clarity on who I am, right? But I think because I'm much more clearer. So I'm not saying I'm more confident. And I think the confidence comes from the clarity, but I'm much clearer on who I am. And the clarity has given me, I think, flexibility to move with all of me in any space that I'm in, you know, because before it felt like if I'm at a specific space, emphasize this part of who you are. If I'm here, emphasize that part of who you are. If I'm with those people, emphasize this part of who you are.
Ish.
But now I'm like, I think anyone gets the best of who I am if I keep all of who I am, because I think that's just how I am, how I'm wired. I'm not the serious guy. I'm not the funny guy. I'm not the clown. I'm not the super intellectual guy. I'm not the fashionable guy. I'm all of it. I'm all of it, right? And I need to find ways to contain all of that, or I have, and I am finding more ways to contain all of that for all the spaces that I occupy, because that's when I function the best. That's when I don't feel like I'm robbing my life for what we're doing on online. That's when I don't feel like the internets are too noisy. I'm like, I'm gonna be who I am everywhere I am, but I just need to find ways to contain that, because obviously if I come with all of who I am, that's just impossible. You can't do that anyway. Like, you don't show up to work with all of who you are. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you don't show up to church. You don't show up anywhere you go with all of who you are. You find ways of how to contain yourself for those spaces. I just contained myself by emphasizing one part of me, and I think that drained my life. So I'm like, no, now I'm just finding ways to contain all of me. So I will be a clown here, but I have very deep reflective moments. Right? I will show all of me, and do that anywhere that I am. So, yeah.
We love to see it.
Shocking.
No, I genuinely do.
No.
I think because obviously now I do know you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I watched you sort of grapple with that.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see you, I'm going to use the word, be more comfortable.
Okay.
With the dynamic personality that you do have.
Sure.
And lean into spaces that make sense for you, not spaces that people are telling you that that's where you need to be.
Sure.
Or why are you doing that?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think for me, it's more, I feel like it's a bit more simplified, which I appreciate, because I think I'm at a place where I'm appreciating simple things in life more, which I feel like is the sign that you're getting very old.
Yeah. And I like it. I love it.
Yeah, we all know you want to just be an old man, so you can say whatever you want.
Bro, yeah.
But I think what happened for me was, yes, my journey was what it was. Had my dip, fell off, completely lost my sense of self, completely lost my sense. When I'm like, I used to watch people go, I don't know who I am, and go, What do you mean you don't know who you are?
What is that?
Everybody knows who they are.
You can't handle.
Like, I don't know if you, as a kid, like when I was a kid, me and my sister used to have a way to look in the mirror and be like, oh, that's me. Not like you're scared, but it would feel like, I don't know how to explain it. It would feel like there's like your spiritual self that's like, oh, this is like the tent I'm in. Okay, like, is this my face? Those my eyes?
You know what the crazy thing is with that?
Did you have that though?
A little bit.
Okay.
But you'll never see yourself through your own eyes.
Yes.
Ever.
It's impossible.
It's nuts though.
So
it's only through mirrors and reflections.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Through interpretations, fam.
Hey!
Because like some mirrors will make you look, you know?
It's wild that I see you through my eyes. Nothing.
Yes.
But I'll never get to do that for
like
myself.
how you'll never hear your actual voice.
Ever.
Like everyone gets shocked. Like, is that what I sound like? And you're like,
ever, bro.
Wow, anyway, so sorry. Getting back to what I was saying. So I was at a place where I didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
Like at all.
Yeah.
And finally, and I was without creativity. I was without my gifting. And it's not to say that it went away, but I completely stopped engaging it. Like it would almost make me angry to watch people, like, you know, what NPR tiny desk.
Yeah.
When you'd be like, so and so has a tiny desk, I'd be angry, bro.
Yeah.
Like I would be irritated that, oh, why are you playing? Because it was a reflection of where I was at.
Sure.
And yet I used to love that stuff, like,
Sure.
you know. So I was not engaging it out in the outside world. I wasn't engaging with it with myself. Like, you know, I've always told you how I'd wake up to write songs or whatever.
Yeah.
And just like be woken up in the middle of the night, boom, you know, can't sleep, go write songs. I would be like, I'm not waking up.
Yeah.
I am not gonna open my notebook. I'm rebelling, right?
Sure.
Anyway, all of that, I'm like, I know what it's like to be without a huge part of who I am. And I have that again. And I'm purely doing this because that is a huge part of who I am.
Yeah.
And I just want to do it.
If you don't create, you're going to die.
Like it's literally, that is, and it's not in the sense of like, oh, this is my God or whatever.
No.
It's just different people and at different times. Because in 20 years, you know, I might, I don't know, like be like a bricklayer. Who knows?
Yeah,
because I've watched those videos on TikTok where they lay bricks and it's like super satisfying. And like part of me really wants to.
The guys never say anything to each other.
Right? Anyway, I'm being silly. But my point is just, I'm pressing into it because I know what it's like to be without it.
Yeah, that's dope.
And number one, I want to enjoy this gifting because it brings me joy. It brings me pleasure. It brings me happiness.
Yeah.
And there are many people who don't get to do what they actually love, right? They kind of have to find like enjoyment in what they're doing, right? Or what keeps you going is the fact that I got bills to pay.
25.
Right? But I'm like, I've been on that side of just doing stuff to pay the bills. And my language for a long time was just like, dude, we don't have time for dreams. We don't have time for this. Where's the money? I don't care. I don't want to hear about your purpose. I don't want to hear about nothing. Yeah. So I'm like, I really went to the opposite of who I really am as a person.
Yeah.
And first of all, I thought I'd find stability there and comfort there and whatever. And I didn't. I'm like, let me just be who I am.
Yep.
Work through all my nonsense.
Yep.
And now I'm like, okay, cool. I want to do this thing, which podcasting is one of them. But I want to be a creative and explore these different avenues because it's what I want to do, but I also want it to work. So I'm going to put in the work. Like, just show up, bruh. Like, just do what you need to do. Right? And because, again, it's a blessing that I even have the opportunity to do this.
To do it, yeah.
Right? So for me, it's just purely like, I know what it's like to not have it. And I have it again, and I'm not going to lose it. And I'm not going to waste it.
100.
Yeah.
Dope. So I think what we should be doing now is going to the midnight drive-in.
Are there still drive-ins?
There was a thing. Where did I see it? Where it was
the fact that you have to think that hard.
No, because it obviously there aren't any that are. It was a pop-up. It was a pop-up.
Oh, like a throwback type drive-in. You tune in on your radio to get the sound.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, anyway, yeah. We should go to a drive-in.
That would be fun.
Yes.
I would actually really like that. But like when it's warm.
Okay. Sure.
Because it's cold.
Then you'll be in your car.
Yeah, but the car gets cold. And then you have to run it for 2 hours. The car has to run so that the engine stays warm, so that they heat.
You'll bring blankets after it stays
warm. You see.
It's cozy.
It's cold.
We'll be scoring.
Anywho.
At the midnight drive-in.
I have a word. I have a parting word for the people.
Okay.
Parting wisdom.
Prophetess. Let's do it.
I just want to say, guys, like, this world is nuts.
Yeah.
Do what you believe you've been called to do.
Yeah.
You might be scared. You might be terrified.
Yeah.
Like, and you might be scared to fail. And failing is scary. But it actually will not kill you.
Yeah, and it's part of the journey, man.
You will not die. You will survive.
Yeah.
And like create, make your stuff. Somebody will wanna engage with it. And that's what I tell myself when I look in the mirror. Man. Yeah. I'm like, do the thing, girl.
Did you say that, or did we read it somewhere? If I'm not creating, I'm dying.
I feel like that's something you would say. Like you as Black. Because you have like these big statements that you make.
Yeah, but anyway, I think that's true. Like if you don't create, you're going to die. Like, and not like physically.
Yeah, I know.
Clock. But it happened when we weren't creating. Like you said, a large part of you was gone. So create, Buffett. Create. And when somebody says another thing, take them take them to any aisle of any store and say, see, many things, right? And these many things are on the shelf because many people are buying these things. Okay, many people are engaging with them. The fact that I could take you from into a store with a shelf full of other things. And pull you out of that store and say, let's stand here. Look at how many other stores with the many shelves in them who have many things, and other stores even sell the same things, but they're still working because people go into those stores to buy it, right? I acknowledge it and know it very well. We might not be someone's salt, and that's why they're not watching this thing. But you are watching. We are your salt. Right?
We are your salt.
We are your salt. So thank you for buying this salt.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the salt.
So you can get more salt.
Please. Hit the notification bell so when more salt drops, you are first to hear about it. Please, right? My salt bay.
Cool, guys.
Peace.
Peace out.